July 5, 2017, 9:32 a.m., Bangkok, Thailand. Royal Thai police storm a luxury villa on Phuthamonthon Sai 3 Road. FBI and DEA agents trail close behind. Inside, they find a 25-year-old Canadian sitting at his laptop. The screen glows, unencrypted, unlocked. He's logged in as admin. The administrators of the world's largest criminal marketplace, larger than Amazon in its dark corner of the internet, just got caught with his hands on the keyboard. Within hours, AlphaBay goes dark. 200,000 users, 40,000 vendors, over $1 billion in transactions, gone. But this wasn't just a takedown. This was the culmination of a 2-year international hunt triggered by one catastrophic mistake made in December 2014. A mistake so simple, so preventable, it seems almost impossible. And it all began with an email address, December 2014. Montreal, Canada. Alexandre Carzes was 22 years old when he launched AlphaBay. On paper, he was a self-described independent website designer. He ran a company called EBX Technologies. His skills: programming, email hosting, web development, network security, database administration, cryptography. Everything a darknet marketplace administrator might need. But Carzes wasn't building corporate websites. He was building an empire. AlphaBay launched in December 2014 on the Tor network, a hidden service accessible only through anonymizing browsers. It was modeled after Silk Road, the infamous dark web marketplace that the FBI had seized just 1 year earlier in November 2013. Silk Road had 14,000 listings when it fell. Carzes planned to be bigger, much bigger. The architecture of anonymity AlphaBay operated as a hidden service, its servers masked behind layers of encrypted relays. Users accessed the site through Tor, the onion router, which bounced their connections through volunteer-operated nodes across the globe. Every transaction was conducted in cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Monero, Ethereum. Digital currencies designed to obscure the flow of money. No names, no addresses, no banks. The site looked legitimate. Clean, professional, user-friendly. It had vendor ratings, escrow services, dispute resolution systems like eBay, like Amazon. Except here, the products were illegal: drugs, stolen identity documents, counterfeit goods, malware, hacking tools, firearms, toxic chemicals. If it was illegal, AlphaBay sold it. The marketplace expands. By 2016, AlphaBay was dominating the dark web. Over 200,000 registered users. More than 40,000 vendors from around the world. At the time of its seizure, AlphaBay hosted over 250,000 drug listings alone. Another 100,000 listings for stolen documents, access devices, and fraudulent services. It had surpassed Silk Road by a factor of 10. The site generated hundreds of millions of dollars in illegal transactions. Carzes took a 2 to 4% commission on every sale. The money poured in. On AlphaBay, Carzes operated under the username Alpha02. Later, he changed it to admin. He managed day-to-day operations with a team of 8 to 10 moderators and administrators. They communicated through encrypted channels. They moved servers across jurisdictions. They built redundancy into every system. Carzes lived in Thailand, a country with loose extradition policies and high tolerance for expatriates who asked few questions. He kept his identity hidden behind layers of operational security, or so he thought. December 2014, the welcome email. When new users registered on AlphaBay, they received a welcome email. Standard procedure, professional, reassuring. It came directly from the site's administration, but buried in the email header, invisible to most users but readable to anyone who looked, was a line of metadata. A return address, pimpalex@hotmail.com. This wasn't a burner account. It wasn't a disposable email from a secure, anonymous service. It was a free Hotmail address, and Alexandra Kazes had been using it since 2008. The internet is forever. That email address appeared in multiple places. In 2008, a user named Alpha02 posted on a French-language tech forum called commentcamache.com. The post included his real name, Alexandre Kazes, and his email, pimppetealex919hotmail.com. He'd also used the same address to register a PayPal account. That PayPal account was linked to Canadian bank accounts in his name and in the name of EBX Technologies. The same email appeared in data breaches from MySpace, LinkedIn, exploit.in, and Zerozozordu web host. It was scattered across the internet like breadcrumbs, all leading back to one man. In the world of operational security, OPSEC, there's a fundamental rule: compartmentation. You never, ever mix your real identity with your criminal identity. You create separate personas, separate email addresses, separate devices, separate lives. The operational security expert known as the Gruck later wrote about Kazes' failure. A mistake made in December 2014 was reported to police in December 2016. This single minor error was enough to bring him down. The real error was to not create a compartmented persona to handle all things AlphaBay. Mikko Hipponen, Chief Research Officer at F-Secure, had a term for this kind of failure: OPSEC, one free email address reused across years, across platforms, across identities. That's all it took. December 2016, the FBI connects the dots. 2 years after AlphaBay launched, law enforcement finally saw the connection. They'd been watching the site, monitoring transactions, tracking vendors, but identifying the administrator. That was the breakthrough. In December 2016, investigators discovered that pimpalex91hotmail.com belonged to Alexandra Kazes, the same Alexandra Kazes who ran EBX Technologies, the same Alexandra Kazes who listed skills in cryptography, network security, and database administration. The same skill set needed to run the world's largest darknet marketplace. From there, the dominoes fell. Operation Bayonet. The FBI, DEA, and IRS Criminal Investigation Division launched a joint operation. They called it Operation Bayonet. But AlphaBay wasn't the only target. At the same time, Dutch National Police were investigating HanseMarket, another major dark web marketplace. The two operations would run in parallel, coordinated across continents. The FBI worked with Europol, the Royal Thai Police, Lithuanian Criminal Police, Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the UK's National Crime Agency, and French National Police. They needed to move fast and simultaneously. If they seized AlphaBay first, users would flee to Hansa. If they seized Hansa first, users would flood back to AlphaBay. They needed both. In June 2017, Dutch police didn't just take down HanseMarket. They took it over, quietly, completely, invisibly. For nearly a month, Dutch authorities ran HanseMarket themselves. They collected usernames, IP addresses, transaction records, vendor identities. Users had no idea they were buying drugs from undercover cops. Meanwhile, the FBI was preparing to strike AlphaBay. The timing had to be perfect. July 5th, 2017. The Raid Thai police, guided by the FBI and DEA, raided Alexandra Kazes' villa in Bangkok. The timing was deliberate. AlphaBay had gone offline earlier that day, possibly due to technical issues or server problems. Kazes was awake at his computer, trying to restore the site. When officers burst through the door, Kazes was logged into AlphaBay as admin. His laptop was open, unlocked, unencrypted. On the screen, communications with AlphaBay data center staff, messages to users, passwords to servers, access to the entire infrastructure. It was a digital confession. The seizure, within hours, law enforcement seized AlphaBay's servers in Canada, the Netherlands, and other undisclosed locations. The site went dark. The FBI replaced AlphaBay's homepage with a seizure notice. "This hidden site has been seized," it read. On the same day, Dutch police announced they'd been running Hansa Market for weeks. Users who fled AlphaBay for Hansa walked straight into a trap. Operation Bayonet was complete. The luxury life investigators began piecing together the scope of Kazis's operation. At 25 years old, he had amassed approximately $23 million. He owned 4 Lamborghinis, 3 houses in Thailand, including the villa where he was arrested, a Porsche Panamera, a BMW, multiple luxury motorcycles. He'd purchased a hotel in Phuket. He owned properties in Cyprus, Liechtenstein, and Antigua and Barbuda. He was in the process of acquiring economic citizenship in Cyprus by purchasing expensive real estate. Kazis held cryptocurrency wallets containing Bitcoin, Ethereum, Monero, and Zcash, worth over $6.5 million. He kept $770,000 in cash on hand. For a self-described independent website designer, he lived very well. On June 1st, 2017, more than a month before his arrest, U.S. prosecutors had quietly filed an indictment against Alexandra Kazes in the Eastern District of California. 1 count of conspiracy to engage in racketeering. 1 count of conspiracy to distribute narcotics. 6 counts of distribution of narcotics. 1 count of conspiracy to commit identity theft. 4 counts of unlawful transfer of false identification documents. 1 count of conspiracy to commit access device fraud. 1 count of trafficking in device-making equipment. 1 count of money laundering conspiracy. If convicted, Kazes faced life in prison. AlphaBay wasn't just a marketplace, it was a distribution network for death. Fentanyl and heroin flowed through the site in vast quantities. Law enforcement linked multiple overdose deaths directly to AlphaBay purchases. In February 2017, a man in Portland, Oregon, died from U-47-700, a synthetic opioid purchased from AlphaBay vendors Theodore Kleberod and Ana Milena Barrero. That same month, a fentanyl overdose in Orange County, Florida, was traced to vendor Jeremy Aichi on AlphaBay. There were more, many more. Attorney General Jeff Sessions addressed the nation on July 20th, 2017. Make no mistake, the forces of law and justice face a new challenge from criminals who think they can commit their crimes with impunity using the dark net. The dark net is not a place to hide. July 12, 2017. A Thai jail cell. 1 week after his arrest, Alexandra Kazes was found dead in his cell at Narcotics Suppression Bureau headquarters in Bangkok. Thai authorities ruled it a suicide. He had been in custody for 7 days. He was awaiting extradition to the United States to face federal charges. Acting DEA Administrator Chuck Rosenberg released a statement. The so-called anonymity of the dark web is illusory. We will find and prosecute drug traffickers who set up shop there. Kazes never stood trial. The FBI and DEA seized millions in cryptocurrency and physical assets. On July 19, 2017, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of California filed a civil forfeiture complaint against Kazes and his wife's assets located throughout the world. Luxury vehicles, multiple residences, the hotel in Phuket, all of it, built on commissions from illegal transactions, was forfeit. Thai courts later ordered the seizure of Kazes' assets in Thailand. His wife, who had not been charged, lost everything. Europol Executive Director Rob Wainwright called Operation Bayonet one of the most successful, coordinated takedowns against cybercrime in recent years. But the operation sent a deeper message. You can build the most sophisticated infrastructure. You can use military-grade encryption. You can hide behind Tor nodes and cryptocurrency mixers. But if you make one mistake, one reused email address, one unencrypted laptop, one moment of carelessness, it all falls apart. The Gruk wrote, "The internet is forever. Mistakes, once made, can resurface at any time." AlphaBay vanished overnight, but the dark web didn't. Within weeks, new marketplaces rose to fill the void. Dream Market, Wall Street Market, Empire Market. In 2021, a new group claiming to be former AlphaBay moderators announced they were relaunching the site. Whether it's the real AlphaBay or an imposter remains unclear, but the cycle continues. For every marketplace seized, two more appear. For every administrator arrested, a new one emerges. Law enforcement can win battles, but the war, that's ongoing. AlphaBay's fall wasn't caused by sophisticated hacking or unprecedented surveillance technology. It was caused by human error, a free email address reused across platforms for years. An unencrypted laptop left open during a raid, operational security failures that would seem elementary to anyone practicing proper compartmentation. Alexandre Cazes had the technical knowledge to build an empire. He understood cryptography, server architecture, and network security, but he didn't understand the most basic principle of criminal tradecraft: never mix your real life with your criminal life. In the end, AlphaBay didn't fall because law enforcement was smarter. It fell because Cazes made a mistake. One mistake. In December 2014, and the internet never forgets. Thanks for watching. To the end of this documentary, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel for more documentaries like this. See you in the next one.